Okay. So thank you all for coming to how to heal ourselves through our connection to the earth. It's Earth Day, which is amazing. So it's a day to celebrate the earth, and what a beautiful day to celebrate the earth. I hope that you've all been enjoying glorious sunshine. And it's also St. George's Day tomorrow. It's a new moon today. There's a special 444 gateway. So there's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of activation happening at the moment. There's a lot of awakening. And you can see that, can't you? If you look around you at the earth, you can see this awakening. Has everyone noticed the beautiful awakening that's happening at the moment? Yeah. You can see the blossom coming out. You can see the beautiful green that is so vibrant all around us. And St. George's Day tomorrow is a really interesting time because it's about the awakening of the dragon. Now, a lot of people think St. George came along and slayed the dragon, and that's one interpretation of it all. But actually, the dragon represents the earth energy lines. It represents the awakening of the earth. And that's what's happening at the moment, this awakening of the earth. And St. George represents another element of the earth. And St. George came to tame this energy of the earth that was out of control through a lance of light, bringing light from the cosmos into the earth. So it's quite a cosmic thing, St. George's Day. My husband's going to give a talk tomorrow on St. George's Day because he knows a lot about the esoteric, deeper meaning of St. George's Day. So I will post that up on my Facebook page for anyone interested in that. So in all different traditions, this is a time where the earth is coming up, where the earth is stirring. In the old and kind of pagan calendar, today, or around this period, today, tomorrow, would have been originally Beltane, which again is about this awakening of the earth, the awakening within our being. So it's a beautiful time to honor and celebrate what we're part of, because we're part of this earth. We are beings, magical beings on this earth. And it doesn't just have to be Earth Day to celebrate that. We should be celebrating that every day, setting those intentions. But with it being a new moon, this is a perfect time to really tune in and go deeper. And that's what we're going to be doing tonight. We're going to talk about the earth in lots of different ways and how we can heal ourselves. There are lots of different layers that you can always work on. You know, you can work on physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. You can work on all of them at once. And we're going to be looking at how we can connect to the earth on all these different levels and what that healing can look like. We're going to do some meditation later to really tune into that and go deeper with it. As I said, if anyone has any questions, please do type them into the chat box as we're going, and I will try to answer them as I can. So when we think about healing ourselves through our connection to the earth, the first place to look at is the physical. So what does it mean to heal ourselves through the earth on a physical level? Well, it means using the plants, tuning into the plants for them to help us with our healing. Now, physically at the moment, you know, one of the things I think that's really important is to look at what is growing around you in the moment, what is coming up more and more at this time in nature, because that's what nature is saying, use. It's going, use me, use me, use me. I'm here to be used, because that's the medicine that we need in the moment. So what is coming up at the moment? Well, lots of dandelions. Dandelions are perfect for the liver and the kidney. So what does the liver and kidney represent? Well, fear and anger. So dandelions help us to release fear and anger. Quite pertinent for what's going on in the world at the moment. On a physical level, dandelions help us to detoxify toxins from our body that we've stored and accumulated over winter. So they're the perfect spring tonic. Nettles are everywhere. My middle son yesterday was on his bike and he fell off his bike into a patch of nettles and got stung all over his side. Bless him, poor boy. He was okay, but he got a good dose of nettle medicine, so he obviously needed that. Something in the nettles wanted to communicate with him and speak to him. And that's what I think is so important to look at. What messages are the plants trying to give us? Because they're here to communicate with us, and we're going to be diving into that more deeply this evening. Someone said, for dandelions, is it the leaves you use? Yes, you can use the leaves, you can use the flowers. You can only use the flowers when they're yellow, not when they turn to like the clocks, because then they'd be a bit scratchy on the throat. So when it's got the yellow flower, you can eat those raw, you can make teas with them, salads, brilliant, vibrant colour that they add to salads. The roots, you can use dandelion roots, they're a really powerful spring tonic. You could make a tincture with them. Put them into apple cider vinegar is another thing you could do with them. But the easiest way to use dandelions is just to use the leaves. I've got lots of pots of dandelions in my garden, and every day when we pick our salad, I go out and collect dandelion leaves as part of our salad from the garden. Today we had a massive bowl of salad just from things we'd foraged, nothing shop bought. It was beautiful. Calendula flowers, dandelions, ditanda, what else did we put? Some cleavers, hawthorn leaves. There was a few other things. I'm just trying to think what else we put in it. Oh, loads of things I can't remember now, but it was beautiful. It was this massive big bowl of vibrancy, and it was such a magical experience to then eat that, because it's freshly picked, and that is such a beautiful thing. So dandelions, so important. Nettles, as I was talking about, again, nettles are liver, kidney. Nettles have that life force that they bring to them. You know, think about nettles and the sting. They're potent, aren't they? So when you start consuming nettles, you get that potency into your life. You get that vroom. They really give you that surge of energy and vitality, which is such an important thing to tune into. Obviously, with nettles, don't eat them raw. You can eat them raw if you blend them, but obviously if you just consume them, you might sting yourself. So just be careful on that one, and always use gloves or something to pick them. Otherwise you're going to get lots of prickles on your fingers. There are physically, there are white dead nettles and yellow dead nettles that you can use. I'm just trying to see if there's one right by me. And they're beautiful to have. Their yellow dead nettles are known as archangel as well, yellow archangel, and the white dead nettles are known as archangel because they tune into the vibration of Archangel Michael. So they're about protection, and they're a beautiful thing to bring into your life. Make teas with them. You can eat the flowers. They taste like honey. When you suck on the flower and put one of those flowers in your mouth, it's like this burst of like sugary, syrupy honey. It's beautiful. If you're collecting anything, a little disclaimer, always cross-reference what you're foraging to make sure you're getting the right thing. And if you're foraging from an area where dogs might have peed, give the plants a wash first. If you are foraging and you're worried about dogs' pees and things getting dirty, what I like to do is soak my plants in a cap full of apple cider vinegar and water, so that I'm clearing out any potential contaminants on there. Or you could use grapefruit seed extract and water. That's another nice thing that you can do. But at the moment, we're looking at, for those of you who have just joined, the physical, how we can heal ourselves through our connection to the earth on a physical level. We're going to be looking at all the different levels that we can work with, and we're going to be doing some meditation in a little bit. So everyone's up to date, those who just joined a few minutes ago. So other things that are coming up, hawthorn leaves. Hawthorn's a beautiful, beautiful tree. Hawthorn is a tree of the heart. There have been a lot of scientific studies done on how we can use hawthorn to help our heart. It's the berries that are used very often medicinally, but the leaves are a beautiful, rich source of nutrients to have. They taste amazing in a salad. You can eat the flowers as well. So you can eat the leaves, the flowers, and the berries when the berries come out of the hawthorn. With the berries, they've got a little pip in, so make sure if you are getting the berries that you don't swallow the, that's not a good thing to do. At the moment, there's just the leaves out, so you can tune in and enjoy that. And as I said, hawthorn is about the heart. It's about opening up the heart. And this is one of the messages that I felt when I was tuning into this webinar was really, really important. one of the ways that the earth wants to help us heal is by opening our heart. Opening our heart to the beauty that is all around us, opening our heart to receiving the offerings that the earth has to give us. And this is such a powerful message that is coming so clearly from the earth at the moment. We need to drop into ourselves and drop into that connection with the earth. Through our heart opening, we can receive these things. So often what happens in our lives is we block ourselves from receiving. We're too busy giving. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that. You know, you spend a lot of time giving out, and then when you try to receive, it's really hard. And you kind of throw it back at people. So someone gives you a nice compliment, for example, and says, "Oh, your hair looks beautiful today." And you go, "Oh, thanks, so does yours." Or, it's just because I washed it. I don't normally do that. Or you have something to block the energy of receiving. Have many of you done that before? Yeah, getting a few nods. So this is something really important to look at. And hawthorn, apple blossom is another thing that's out at the moment. You know, nature signals to us what we need to look at by what is happening all around us. So you look at the plants that are out now, apple blossom, hawthorn leaves, and these are all heart-opening plants. They're all about us stepping into receiving. And that's such a beautiful message and a beautiful thing to really look at, opening our heart to receiving. And we're going to be doing a meditation with that in a little bit to really open us up. Because if we're closed down, we can't see the beauty all around us. We can't truly connect into our own beauty. Because we can only truly give as much as we receive. We think we can give more, but we're giving from a place of lack. And so that is short-lived. That's not a constant that we can do. So what's so important is that we open up this channel so we can have this beautiful flow happening. Because without flow, nothing really works. And you look at the ocean, you know, the waves come in and then they roll out. There's this equal exchange of movement. It's like our breath. We have the in-breath and we have the out-breath. You can't always just be breathing out. You have to breathe in. And this is about the giving and receiving. And this is what the hawthorn and the apple are trying to teach us, to open up to receive. And, you know, for me, when I look at apple blossom, I've got an apple tree just over here I'm looking at. When I look at apple blossom, it's very hard not to receive when you actually look at it and stop. And this is one of the things I think that's coming out of what's going on at the moment is people are having more time to stop and smell the roses. You know, we're having more time to be with what is around us, to be with nature, because there aren't so many distractions. Well, I have 3 children, so there's quite a lot of distractions, but I'm taking them, we're going out for walks, we're in nature, we're surrounded, we're not getting in our cars, driving places, we're being more present with what is going on naturally in the cycles. And when you look at so many indigenous tribes and you look at how we used to live connected to the earth. We used to allow the earth to guide what was happening in our lives. And this is the space we need to return to. And we are returning to, which is so exciting. And on Earth Day, what better time than to celebrate that? So physically, we've got hawthorn leaves, we've got apple blossom, all these things returning us to the heart. We've got calendula coming up. Calendula is a beautiful, bright orange flower, and you can put that in salads. And that really reminds us to step into our personal power, because that beautiful, bright orange is about the solar plexus chakra. It's about opening our being to the power, the beauty that we are, that all of us are. And that's another message that I think is coming up so clearly at this point in time, is that we have to step into our power. We have to truly embrace the divine beings that we all are. We have to step into ourselves. Now is the perfect time to step into that. Cosmically, there's all these activations going on. There's a ramping up of energy on the planet. There's a real shifting of consciousness. And in that shifting of consciousness, we have in anything the duality. You have the light and you have the dark. And at the moment, the dark seems quite big, but the light is also rising up. And so what we have to do is tune ourselves more into that. More and more, we have to go back into the light. And in order to do that, we need to step into our power. We need to step into the divinity that we are, so that we know the truth, because we all have the truth within us. And for me, the way I can tap into that is through the earth. It's through that connection with what is going on in the seasons. It's through what's happening with the plants. It's through tuning into physically what's growing and using that as much as I can in my daily life, making teas with the herbs that are growing, eating salads out of the foods that are growing, really tuning into as much as I can, collecting and foraging and being with what is coming up in nature. And it's a huge subject, and obviously we've only got a limited time to touch on it, but this Sunday, from 10 to 12, I'm running a foraging, growing and making online workshop. So if anyone wants to know about that, then do let me know. That's going to be online in this same format, but we're going to be going out and looking at plants that are growing and actually looking at pictures of them, or them in situ. And then I'm going to be showing you how to make things with them. So if you want to get into this a lot more on a deeper kind of practical level, then that will be the workshop for you. It's not going to be such a meditative thing. It's going to be more practical. So what else is growing around us? Well, for me, I've got loads and loads of herbs growing around me. And I was reading Nicholas Culpeper, who's one of the father of modern herbalism. I was reading one of his books today about mint. It was unbelievable, the stuff he was saying about mint. I mean, we take things for granted, don't we? I've got mint here. Let me just pull this mint. And it smells amazing. It's a beautiful plant, mint, and it's lovely just to chew on the leaves. It's great to make teas with. It's great to put in salads. Oh, that's what I put in some of my salad today. I just chopped up some fresh mint leaves. Beautiful zing, amazing thing to do. And so we all know, well, mint's great because it eases our digestion, really good for our guts, to help us break down food more and ease any gas, things like that. But then you start to look deeper about mint, and mint is meant to be very good for the respiratory tract and clearing and breaking up mucus and helping this area stay healthy. It's good for our sinuses. It's reported to be good for hay fever. It's good for headaches. It's good to clear the mind. It's good to energize. This list goes on. And it's just a simple plant of mint that so many of us take for granted. That's the thing, we take these things for granted that are all around us. And when you start to dive into the actual history of how these plants have been used, you go, wow, that's incredible. Rosemary is another one of them. I could go on talking about herbs all day long, about what they do. And there's so many benefits to things that are just culinary herbs. So it's worth looking into more and more, because the more you do, the more you start to tune in. And if any of you were on my last webinar about plant wisdom, then I shared with you a meditation on how you can tune into plants on deeper levels. If any of you weren't on it, do go on and check it out. It's on my YouTube channel, so you can watch it again, because there's a nice little meditation to tune into how plants can work with you specifically. And that's a great thing to do, tuning in, always tuning back into how the plant is going to work for you. And looking at some of these old texts about how plants have been used for centuries, because these things are tried and tested methods. And that's what's so exciting, isn't it? When something's been used for thousands of years. They found mint in Egyptian coffins. They found remnants of mint, in the burial chambers. So it's been revered by so many different cultures for its amazing properties. Mint's also very good to keep bugs away. So a great plant to have to help mosquitoes away. It was said that people used to rub mint leaves on their skin to make them smell fresh and sweet, and also obviously to keep bugs away as well. So lots of different things you can do. If you put mint on your skin, it can give you that zing. It's really uplifting to the spirit. It's uplifting to the being. So physically, obviously, there's lots and lots of different things out at the moment. As I've said, there's the dandelions, there's the nettles, there's the dead nettles, there's ground ivy, which is a beautiful one to help us feel happier, to remove melancholy. So this is another lovely one that you can make teas with. I'm just trying to think what else is out there. Garlic mustard, really good to put into food. Amazing taste and flavour. It's everywhere at the moment. It's really profuse. You know that you've got garlic mustard because you break a leaf open and it smells like a mixture between garlic and mustard. So delicious in salads, great for supporting our immune system, filled with nutrients. So a real great burst for the body. When we pick fresh food, when we go out and we forage and we can collect stuff and we use it picking to plates, and there's not that delay, then we get so many more nutrients, because once you pick something, the nutrients start to break down in that food straight away. So the more we can pick and just eat, the better it is for us. Also, there's all these microscopic particles on here. There's all these microbacteria which are helping to support our gut health. When you buy stuff from the shops, it's wrapped in plastic quite often. It's been there for days. The nutrient quality, the energetic quality of that food is so much less than when you go out and actually just pick it and eat it. And when we connect to our food on a more basic level, what we do is we tune back into this ancient way of being hunter-gatherers. It's what's in our nature. That's what's in our instincts, to forage, to go and collect food. As someone's just said, do you use flowers and leaves for garlic mustard? Yes, you do. Now's the perfect time to collect it. And as I said, it's really profuse in a lot of places. So go and find it and have a taste sensation in your mouth. And it's great. You can cook with it. You can just eat it raw. So lots and lots of different things that you can do with it. So tuning in, as I was saying, to what is available in the moment is such a key thing. And one of our friends, he all winter was making rosemary and sea buckthorn tea from things that he was growing. And he said, normally I get sick, but I've not been sick at all. And he puts it down to making this tea. And, you know, we can spend a fortune on herbal tea bags. Some of them come in plastic. You know, tea bags actually have plastic in them. Not all, but some. But what better way to make tea than actually just going into your garden or going onto your windowsill and just picking some herbs, sticking them to a cup and leaving them to steep for 5 minutes and then drinking that. I mean, that is cost effective, it's medicinal, tastes incredible, and you're working with the energy of the plants. So when we start to really work with the plants that are around us, they give us so much more knowledge and medicine than if we just buy something off a shelf. Plants are living beings. They're interacting with us all the time. There's an energetic exchange. And this is what I find so incredible, is this energetic exchange. Now, when we're looking at plants, obviously, we've been talking about the physical, but what about the mental and the emotional levels? Well, how can we heal ourselves through our connection to the earth? Well, there's been many scientific studies now to show that if you go out into nature and have time in nature, this can ease depression. When we go into nature, let's say we go into the woods, this releases negative ions, which help us to feel calm. When we're around a computer, unfortunately we're around computers now, but computers release positive ions, which can make us feel angry and stressed in our being. So the more we can get out in nature, the more we can ground ourselves. This is such an important principle as well. We're all electromagnetic beings, so we all have this electromagnetic charge to us, this electromagnetic frequency. And when we are not connected to the earth, when we're not barefoot on the earth, when we are on concrete, when we're under strip lights, when we have LED bulbs, all of these things stop us from fully recharging our being. How we recharge is we get back on the earth and we plug ourselves in. It's literally like replugging yourself in. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced that, when you're exhausted, you're inside and you go outside and maybe sit by a tree or sit on the ground and go, and you feel a surge of energy. Has anyone ever experienced that before? I'm getting a few nods. this is such a powerful thing. And now there's a lot of grounding technology out there. So you can buy grounding sheets for your bed. You can buy grounding sheets to put under your computer. All of these things to help return us to the state that we're naturally meant to be in, which is part of this earth, because we are, guess what? Beings of this earth. We want to be on the earth. We want to be barefoot on the earth. We want to be laying down on the grass. We want to be recharging. We want to be hugging trees. This is our natural state of being. And this is the state we need to return to really help heal our mental and emotional well-being. When it comes to our spiritual being, this is really where, and we're going to do a meditation in a moment, this is really where our connection to the earth is so important. Because we are more than our physical beings. We are spiritual beings here having a physical experience. And so often we neglect our spiritual being. We may give our physical being all the things it needs, but if our soul is not happy, if our spirit is not happy, then very quickly our physical body will follow. So that is something really important to be aware of, that we need to tune into what our spiritual needs are. And this varies for everyone, how to get that. It could be through singing, it could be through dancing, it could be through walking in the woods. For me, it's through my connection to the earth that I thrive. If I'm not connected to the earth, if I haven't been out in nature, I very quickly can start to feel myself kind of going down and getting stressed in my being. And it's an indication to me when I start to get stressed and like this, that I'm not spending enough time on my self-care. And at this time where there's a lot going on, there's a lot of stress everywhere, it's so important that we focus on our self-care. And for me, that's getting out in nature. It's sitting by a tree. It's going for a walk. It's connecting to the plants. It's meditating. It's journaling. It's drawing. Not drawing anything specific, just doodling and just connecting in with that part of my body, that my part of my being that wants a voice. Because this is something we forget so often, is that this voice of ours here is meant to really connect into our truth. It's meant to allow us to speak from our soul. And so often people are scared to speak from their soul because they're worried about what other people think, what judgment other people are going to give, whether they're going to be rejected. All of these things that come into play, that all come through the throat. It's interesting in some ways that at the moment, this thing that's going around that is affecting people is all to do with the throat and the lungs and this whole area. The lungs are about really fear of fully living, fully embracing life, fully breathing into life. And so often that's hard, isn't it, to really breathe deeply into yourself, into your being in its fullness. And then from that breath, then speaking and communicating that truth. And so that's what we're going to look at in a minute. There's one other message that really has been coming up from the earth at this point in time, I feel. So one of them is opening our heart. The other is resilience. The resilience of our nature. And this is shown in cleavers, nettles, dandelion, all these weeds, these really, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not aggressive, but they're determined weeds. They're resilient weeds because they can grow so easily everywhere. Cleavers just spreads and takes over. And what's so funny about cleavers is that it just sticks to you. What's used, I think is quite a remarkable thing. So the message really coming from the earth is that we need to open our hearts. We need to connect into receiving the wisdom of the earth, and we need to be resilient. We need to tune into the resilience that is in all of us. That deeper power that knows that we can get through it all. Does that make sense to people? Yeah, great. So what we're going to do now is we are going to do a meditation to connect into these aspects. So if you all want to get comfortable, then we shall begin. What was that? Was that Jack and Ori story time? If you're sitting comfortably, then we shall begin. Before we begin this meditation, I want to show you this beautiful thing. So I was walking around my garden just before doing this call with you guys, and this bluebell, we've got a little patch of bluebells, and they are so beautiful, and their scent is absolutely exquisite. And this bluebell just calls to me to say, can I be involved in this meditation, in this session? And can you all see that clearly? Isn't it beautiful? The delicacy, you know, this is something that for me is such an incredible thing, such a powerful thing. When you look at nature, when you actually look at a flower, or you look at a leaf coming up, and you see the absolute beauty that it is. You see the intricacy of the colors, the shades. You see this perfection. And nature's just created that. And what I love about that is that we are just as perfect. We have that perfection in us because we are part of nature. Just like these flowers can just grow and bloom in such majesty, and the trees can just open up their leaves and create fruit and create food and all of this. So we can plant seeds and we can create beauty because that's what's in us as well. May not feel like that sometimes. You know, some days can be absolutely crap, and it can be hard work, and it can feel like we're walking through sludge. But if we can remember that this is our nature, this perfection, the geometry, the magic that is nature is us. Sometimes that can really pull us through. Today, I set an intention when I woke up that I wanted to have joy in all things I did today. Yesterday was quite a hard day with my middle child and his mental health, and I struggled, and I felt angry and I felt exhausted by the end of the day, and I just had had enough. And when I went to bed, I thought, you know what? Every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. And tomorrow I choose joy in every moment. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just choose joy. And I'm just going to reframe, and I'm going to tune into the resilience. And I'm also going to trust the resilience that is my son to get through this. I'm going to trust the resilience of my family to get through this. And it was incredible. That shift in my consciousness today made such a difference to everyone. And there was one moment where things started to just like go out a bit out of control. And I was like, no, stay in joy, stay in joy. It's all fine. Just breathe and stay in joy. And it was amazing because my response shifted and my reaction to the whole situation changed. And the situation then wasn't a situation because I stayed in joy, and I chose in that moment, and I kept choosing to be in that space of joy. So we have a choice in every moment to remember the divinity that we are, to be in love or to be in fear. And it doesn't matter if we make the other decision and choose to be in fear in a moment, because we can change it. That is the amazing thing about life, is each moment we can choose a different reality. And so on that note, we are going to start the meditation. So I want you all to make yourself comfortable. And close your eyes. And I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. not controlling your breath, just being aware of it. And I want you to listen to the sounds around you. And allow those sounds not to be a distraction, but just to slowly move into the distance, allowing the sound to move into your being more. And as you breathe, your breath disconnects you from distractions. Your breath allows you to become fully present in this moment. Today, on Earth Day, the Earth is reminding us that there is a gentler way. There is a gentler way to proceed and to obtain the same effect. The Earth is telling us that we can tame the wild and frenzied workings of our mind by grounding ourselves. Grounding ourselves with beauty and with grace. The Earth is telling us that the best way to overcome fear and negativity is through gentleness, vulnerability, and inner spiritual strength. The Earth is telling us that at this time, the way we can connect with that beautiful inner strength is through her, is through journeying back to the mother. The mother is so beautiful and benevolent and invokes qualities of love and connection and creativity. Through opening up our hearts to the earth, this allows us to heal our wounds of rejection, our wounds of hurt, our wounds of abandonment. For the earth is always there for us. The earth is always there to guide us and to love us, to nurture us and support us. The earth is there to connect us with a deeper level of healing and trust. I would like you to imagine that you're laying now on the earth. You can feel the earth underneath you and you release any tension, any fear, any strain into the earth. And you feel the earth absorbing all your pain, all your hurt. You feel yourself recharging on the earth. And above you, as you lay on the earth, you see a beautiful feather slowly drifting from side to side, moving down in front of your gaze. And this beautiful white feather settles in your heart. And the feather reminds you of the softness that you are, the beauty that you are. And as you focus your attention in your heart space with this beautiful feather sat there, You can say these words to yourself or listen to me saying them. I call upon the Divine Mother, Gaia, the Earth, for her blessings of spiritual grace, wisdom, happiness, and healing. May I recognize and embrace the gentlest path for effective healing and deep self-love and transformation. May I allow myself to be one with the earth. Now I'd like you to imagine or feel or visualize a beautiful, glorious being in front of you. A being of pure white light. This is a being of the earth. This is the earth represented in a light form. And this being is staring down at you, gazing upon you. The Earth Mother is gazing upon you with a protective, loving, kind, devotional look. And as this being of light, representing the Mother of the Earth, looks down on you, sending a beautiful white light to your being, you feel the light entering into your heart and your mind and your soul, clearing, cleansing, healing, blessing you from within. And you feel this light illuminating every part of your being, every cell of your being is being filled with the love of the Mother, the love of the Mother Earth. And as you lay there on the earth with this beautiful divine being sending you healing, you feel the healing coming up from the depths of the earth, as well as shining down on you from this being. Your whole body is encased in a beautiful, beautiful white light. The earth is reminding you that you are always loved. You are always blessed. You are always held in her warm embrace. And from this space of deep connection, of deep healing, of deep love, on this new moon, on this activating gateway, I want you to set an intention with the earth. Set an intention for what you want to bring in, for what reality you want to create in this moment that is in line with the earth, in line with the divinity that you are. Remembering that you have a powerful, beautiful voice, and that voice is the voice of the earth. The earth speaks through you, just as you speak through the earth. Feel the earth whispering into your heart, whispering into your inner knowing, the truth, the intention. You may want to affirm to yourself that you hear the voice of truth louder than others, that you allow yourself to speak with your voice of truth. That you ask to be blessed with clarity and wisdom. And the grace and gentleness to make deep changes. And take a moment to just allow that energy, the energy of the earth, to settle through your being. At this moment, you may want to ask the earth if she has a message for you at this time. And breathe that message through your body. And bring your awareness now back to your physical body, back to your breath. Saying thank you to the earth and thank you to the being of the earth for the healing that you received. Knowing that the earth is always there to support and nurture you. And feeling your breath becoming stronger as your senses return to your physical body, to the here and now. And if you want to gently circle your head from side to side, moving your fingers and your toes. And when you're ready, opening your eyes. And if you want to make a note of anything that came up for you in that meditation, then please feel free to. If you want to type anything in the chat box that came up that you want to share, then please feel free to. I'll give you guys a couple of minutes and then we will start talking again. If you're feeling a bit ungrounded, it's always good to have a sip of water. Hopefully you're feeling really grounded because it was an earth connecting grounding meditation. So you should feel relaxed and calm and soothed, but present. Someone said, thank you, that was so grounding. Someone else, so beautiful. Normally find visualization difficult, but that was amazing. Thank you. Feeling really grounded. Great. I'm pleased. Did anyone have any experiences or any gifts or messages that came to them that they want to share before I start talking again? Please just type it into the chat box if you do. So for me, one of the most important things is in different ways connecting with the earth. You know, that I find is a really powerful meditation to do. And you can watch this on replay so you can do it again or do whatever comes to you. I generally, when I'm doing these, make up most of the meditation as I go. I tune into what comes from the earth in the moment because that's such an amazing way to connect with what's happening in this moment in time. And that's the only moment that really exists, isn't it? This moment in time. We have no idea about what's coming next or what's gone before us. It's all just up in the air, isn't it? This is the only truth, is this moment now. Someone's just said the message that came was peace, which was really lovely and profound and calming. Still experiencing a physical energetic change through my whole body and head now. That is the message, isn't it, that the earth has for us in every moment, is peace. It's breathe, it's connect. It's that opening of our heart to receiving the gifts that the earth has to give us. And they are so plentiful and bountiful. And you can receive those gifts, as I said, on all different levels. You can receive the gifts on a physical level. Oh, I want to share a little story on that. It came into my mind as we were doing the meditation about daisies. Daisies are such a beautiful flower, and daisies are edible. They're lovely in salads. Daisies make a beautiful balm that's really good for soothing and calming and bruising. You can make a daisy tea, which is also energizing and uplifting to the being. And I was out with my littlest. He was on his bike, and there's a playing field opposite our house, and the guy was there with his big tractor about to mow it, and we saw all these daisies, and I went, oh no, the daisies are all about to be mowed up, we need to pick some of them. So we quickly got down there and started picking daisies, and it was such an incredible experience just picking daisies, because we were connecting into the joy of the colours of the daisy. Now daisies, these daisies had pink on the outside. I mean, some of the most exquisite daisies I think I've ever seen. But really all flowers are exquisite. Everything's exquisite when we take the time to stop and notice. And when you start looking at a daisy and examining it, you can really see this magnificent, beautiful, bright yellow center, and then the white petals coming out. And there's so many of them, they radiate out. And for such a small flower, it's it's packed, it's jam-packed full of loveliness. And they're part of the sunflower family, daisies. And you think about sunflowers and the energy, well, daisies have got such a similar energy, but they're so versatile. You know, what's amazing as well is that a daisy, I'm just looking over at my grass and there are some there, they shut up at night time. So they're very much sun flowers. Flowers of the sun, not sunflowers. Because they open up to the rays of the light, just as we do. You know, when we have sun around us, we open up, we start shining, just as the daisy shines. And when you start to, you know, so much time, people have made daisy chains or made crowns of daisies. You know, people have always connected into the energy, the playfulness of the energy of daisies. If you want to bring that playfulness in, why don't you start eating them, making teas, infusing your water? Just tuning into them and sitting with them is an amazing thing. So I think the daisy really wants us to tune into her energy at the moment and go out and be playful. You know, I think at the moment a lot of people are forgetting to be playful. We're caught up in the drama that is going on in life. And there's a lot of drama going on in life, especially if you watch the news, which I don't. Then there is a lot of drama. But if we connect back to nature and we go out and we become playful again, and we become young and innocent, and just look at the joy that is all around us, this can heal us. This can bring us to peace. This can give us the answers and the solutions that we need. I've long said, you know, with the whole climate change thing and all of this other stuff going on, that the earth is never going to struggle. It's going to be us that struggles, because the earth is infinitely wise, and the earth will always find solutions to rectify what's going on. It's like when you see pictures of old mines that have been abandoned, really quickly the earth just takes over and turns it into the most incredible place filled with plants. So, and there's a saying in life, wherever there is a void, the earth has to fill it. So whenever we create that void in our being, we have to fill it with something. And Let's fill it with love. Let's fill it with positivity. Let's fill it with light. Let's fill it with joy. Let's fill it with playfulness. Let's fill it with plants. Let's fill our lives with the knowledge of how these plants can heal us, because they are there to heal us. They're there to help us in so many different ways. I feel really blessed in my life that I have so much knowledge of plants and how they can work with us. And I'm still learning. I'm constantly learning. Quite often I go to bed with a different book on plants, reading about the properties of different plants, or the energetic properties or the physical properties, because there's so much information and knowledge out there and you can never absorb it all. So when you read this stuff and then you tune into it and you work with it and you grow and you plant and you connect and you walk and you make teas and you use this knowledge, this is the key. You know, we don't want to just read, we don't want to just listen to, we want to actually get busy and doing. And that's a really important thing. And I think one of the things that would be a really nice thing for you all to do is to take a moment now to think about what your next step could be to connecting more with the earth. How could you connect more with the earth on a practical level? What is the one thing that you could do so that you could start healing yourself physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually? You could choose one level or all of them. Keeping it simple is always so key. But for me, this is one of the guiding principles I like to work by. It's not getting overrun by, my God, she's given me so much information, what should I do? It's one thing. What's the one next step? Because we can all do one next step, can't we? And once you've done one next step, then you can add in another next step. So I want you to take a minute to think and to write down, because this is a really important thing as well. Not just having it in your head, but actually writing down. When we write things down, we're bringing things from our subconscious into our conscious. We're creating a new reality. It's like vision boards. When you do a vision board, you're really bringing reality and you're allowing it to become more concrete. It's like when you voice something. Have you ever done that, when you've got all this stuff running through your head and then you voice it and you actually say it and you're like, oh, okay. And it takes on a new life, doesn't it? So I want you now just to take a minute to set your next step, your one next step for how the earth is calling you to connect for your healing more fully. So it could be that you want to start making mint tea every day if you've got a mint plant. Or it could be that you want to get out in nature and learn to do some foraging and just pick one thing that you want to forage and start eating more wild food. It could be that you want to go out and meditate and ground and connect with the earth every day. It could be that you want to go and pick some daisies and tune into them and get playful. Have a think about what that one next step is that you've got out of this evening. And if anyone wants to type it up in the chat box, their next step, bring it even more into reality, then you can. Definitely more grounding. Need to get feet on the earth. Yeah. That is such an incredible thing, getting feet on the earth, and we forget about it. And it's one of the most simple things. That's one of the things about the earth and about healing, is it doesn't have to be complicated. None of this has to be complicated. It's a really, really simple thing. It's as simple as getting your socks off and your shoes off and putting your feet on the ground. It can be that simple. Someone said daisy tea. I was looking at them the other day and wondering if they were edible. Look for hawthorn and yes, feet. Was looking at the grounding sheets too, but they're expensive, so we'll get to the park. I mean, grounding sheets are amazing. They are. We don't have one on the bed. We've got them for the computers, and that makes a massive difference, having the grounding sheet under the computer, because you're kind of countering the negativity of the computer. And the grounding sheets for the computer are cheaper than the ones on the bed. But getting out into nature is a really important thing. You know, just recharging our electromagnetic field, plugging ourselves back in, makes everything so much easier to deal with. Someone said, pick and eat dandelions tomorrow before I mow the lawn. Woohoo! Great. That's a great idea, to pick and eat them, and enjoy. And you know, it's such an amazing thing. I'd love you to share, for you guys to share with me when you do go out and forage and eat some stuff, how it feels. Because for me, it gives me such joy and such excitement in my being. Like, it really fills me with such a, like, when I eat food that I foraged, it's the vibration of the food, the energetics of it work on such a deeper level. And when you can go out and put nettles in your smoothie, or cleavers in your smoothie in the morning, or dandelion flowers, you can put dandelion flowers in your smoothie and make it beautiful and bright yellow. And give you that, if you need that warmth and that glow. One thing I would say is, if you're picking flowers, always make sure that you leave enough for the bees, because they need some too, especially at this time when there's not huge amounts of flowers. I mean, there's a fair bit, but it's always important not to over forage an area or a thing, and not take all of them, and be respectful that there are other creatures that want to eat and enjoy those things too. And the bees are so important. So it's great to have dandelion flowers and have some of them, but just have that in your mind, in your consciousness. I think that is a really important thing to do. So I hope you've enjoyed connecting. What I'd like to do now is take a few minutes to talk to you about some of the work I'm doing, so that if any of you want to work with me more, then you can know a little bit more about that. People keep sending me messages asking me to go into more specifics about my mentorship program and what that entails and what it's actually kind of like. So I'm going to take a couple of minutes to do that and talk to you about my different courses that I've got going. So as I mentioned earlier, this Sunday I have a foraging, growing and making workshop, which is an online workshop from 10 to 12. And that's going to be great fun. We're going to be going out into nature, looking at things, how they grow, and then we're going to be making stuff. We're going to be talking about what you can forage at different times, what you can grow at different times, because people have been asking me that a lot. Well, I don't know what to grow. I've got this space. I don't have this space. So it's going to be quite an interactive workshop on those things. So that's this Sunday, and that's on my events page on my website. So for more information, click on there. My mentorship program starts on the 4th of May, so in just under 2 weeks. And this is a 12-week journey, and this is going to be the third one I've done. And why I do this is because I've seen that when you work together, when I work and I create a space and I hold a space for people, we can go on such an amazing journey of discovery and real transformation. And so often it's hard to do things alone, isn't it? It's hard to, you can get so far, but you really want someone to hold your hand and guide you and support you. And so that's what I do on the 12-week process. It starts with a one-to-one where I go through looking at foods you're eating, looking at what's going on in your life, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. And we look at creating a plan. The first part of it is very kind of physical and food based. And then when we get into the 12 weeks, it's a group session, and it's a really small group. So it's very intimate, and we can really get into the depths of what's going on. And every session starts with a meditation. And then we go around and we talk about where we're at and what we've been struggling with, what has been working well, so that I can really help you process things. And what you find is that everyone is on a similar journey, even though it may look different. There are very similar issues that come up. So we can all help support each other through that. And we meet once a week with that. I do weekly videos where I talk about different subjects of healing and well-being. We talk about superfoods, we talk about foraging, we talk about a whole range of incredible subjects. And each week we tune into a different plant. So we really start to understand the plant wisdom on a deeper level, and how we can integrate that into our well-being and into our health. And it's a real honor watching this transformation that occurs in people. It's such a powerful process of deep healing. So if that's something that is resonating with you and you want to know more about it, then let me know and we can book a free call to chat about it. There are installment plans for it, so that it's not inaffordable for anyone. and I want to work with you if you want to work with me to make it all work and happen. So send me a message. You can book on my website a free call if that is something that interests you. I also have a pre-recorded online courses. Now, when you take the mentorship, you get all of my online courses for free as a bonus with that. But you can also get my online courses separately, which cover a range of subjects. So there's hormone health, family health, transformative health, a journey into the self-care, and two others that I can't remember the names of. Oh, healing the gut, and one more. That's a really good sales pitch, isn't it? Not remembering what they're called. So if you are interested in knowing more about those online courses, then I'm offering a special offer for you guys on this call of all of them for £150 as opposed to £982, which is what they all would come to. So let me know if you are interested in those, and you get them for life. It's a lifetime access to them. I've also got lots of amazing superfood mixes that I mix myself with lots of care and love, and my book Superfoods and How to Use Them and Divine Desserts. So there's lots of different ways you can work with me. I've also got lots of free videos on YouTube. So do check out my YouTube channel, because I'm putting up lots more content on there. So there's something for everyone in all different ways. I do work one-to-one with people as well. So if you want to work on a one-to-one level, then do message me about that. I hope you've enjoyed this journey, and if there's anything I can help you with, any way that you want to connect, and if you want to call to see how you want to work with me further, then we can have a chat and discuss that too. But I hope you have a lovely evening. I hope that you have a lovely rest of your Earth Day, a lovely new moon, and a really powerful activation and awakening. And remember, and this is so important, that the earth is there for you to guide you. The earth is there to support you. And one of the most important things that we have to do on our journey is keep asking for help and support. When we open ourselves up to ask for help and support, that help and support and guidance is there. And that's something that sometimes we're too proud to do, or we're worried about doing, or we forget about doing. But the more you can tap into asking for help, and saying, universe, guys, I need your help with this issue. Earth, guide me, help me, show me what plant I need to work with next. You'll see it, and the answers will be clearly there in front of your eyes. But we have to ask for that help and support. And any way that I can help and support you on this journey, I am more than happy to do. And it's been lovely sharing the evening with you. I hope you've enjoyed it and got a lot out of it. And I will see you all very soon. Good night.